good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. This is Dr. Sarah Renee Langley. Now I got to use my government name. I decided to put my middle name in there. And this is Advancing in Adversity. And we want to ask you a question today. Are you free to celebrate? Are you free to celebrate? I want to bring on my co-host for the day, the hour, this time, Dani Johnson, licensed social worker. Hey, Dani.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? How you doing?
And look, as always, we want to check in with you to see how you're doing. So, hey, how are you doing? Number one, first and foremost, put a 1 in the comment section if you had a great day. Put a 2 in the comment section if you had a so-so day. And if so, we're nosy. Tell us why. And if you're not trying to put your business out there, then I don't know why you're on this live stream anyway. No, look, make sure that you put in the comment section what made it a so-so day. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. But just talk about what are you going to do differently to turn that 2 into a 1 tomorrow. So, hey, if you had 1s, we want to celebrate you. We're glad that you had a great day today. If you had a so-so day, put a 2 in there and just talk about what are you going to do differently to move that to a 1 tomorrow. So Dani, for you, 1 or 2?
I'm a 1 today. Today was a good day. It was a calm day. It was a peaceful day. So today was a good day. And I will just preface that, they're definitely having a good day outside. We are celebrating outside early for the 4th of July. The fireworks are now readily available in the state of New Jersey. So we're getting happy. We're getting excited. So if it sounds like a lot of promotion going on, we are safe. We are just celebrating early.
Okay, cool. Thank you for letting us know that you're safe because that's important.
Definitely.
Now, today for me was a 1. And I tell you the truth, here's why. We're going to give y'all some tips. Let's give you a good tip. Now, we're always talking about your mental wellness. And notice I said wellness instead of health because, mental health, oh my gosh. I know at this point, in this time in juncture, I know we're not having any stigma issues in regards to saying mental health. But if in case, it's not about us, it's about you. So we want to make sure that you feel comfortable. So we'll say mental wellness. However, there's also different things that you can do to maintain not just your mental wellness, but holistically, yourself. I was invited to speak on June the 27th on a webinar where they're talking about different types of wealth. And I'm taking care of the mental health wealth, making sure that you are well mentally. But you can also have financial wealth, right? You can also have physical wealth in terms of your physical state. So I wanted to share with you what made my day a 1 today in hopes that maybe you can apply this to your life. Y'all ready? Ready, Annie?
Yeah.
Everybody's ready. Hey, everyone. Thank you for tuning in as you're joining in. We appreciate your time today, as always. All right. So we're talking about, buying Black, right? And how we are here to support Black businesses. We're reconsidering, let's go ahead and be about Black businesses. Here's my question to you. Have you considered stock into these Black businesses? Because it's one thing because we're Black or because we're a person of color that we need to go ahead and support each other. That's awesome. But how about making it a win-win-win-win-win? So not just solely just sewing into someone's business because they're a person of color, but also their stock. So what made my 1 today? I'm going to give y'all this business tip. Now, again, I'm not a broker. I'm not a, whatever you call them, the person that manages your finances or tell you how to deal with your, your money and investments. Okay. So you need to research it for yourself. But what helped me out today was I researched this one Black stock or Black owned business stock. So Urban One. So that is with radio, right? They have a couple of things that they do, but Urban One Radio, you've heard of them. Yes? You heard of them, y'all? So, hey, because of everything that's going on in buying Black and Black owned businesses, and Urban One is a Black owned business with their stock. Their stock was low a couple of days ago. They boost within a couple of days up to almost 2,000%.
Wow.
2,000%. And praise ye the Lord, I rode that wave from when they started up to where they are now. So I'm a one today.
Yes.
So I'm telling y'all, if y'all want to be a one, y'all need to go ahead and consider Urban One stock. Okay. So look, you do your research. Again, I'm not, into that financial field, but I did my research. It's one thing to make a decision to buy Black, but also take it a step further. Start investing, investing beyond programs and products and services. How about some stock? Okay, so that's the only tip I have for y'all today. That's what made my one a one today.
I know that's right. Great, Dr. Langley. Excellent. And exactly like we're talking about, supporting our businesses, but actually investing, into us and then seeing growth within us. That's a good point because, and there's plenty of resources out there. So we can't say, well, I don't know a stock market. I'm not a day trader. You don't have to be. We know you don't have to be. There's YouTube. There are so many resources out there that show you how to invest in yourself or how to make investments, even like, small little investments here and there and how that can calculate over time. Exactly. So
So yeah, we got to consider ourselves with the Black excellence, Black wealth, building Black wealth. And to all of my allies out there, all of my non-Blacks, all of my, white people out there, look, especially the ones who've been rocking and riding for some time. We love you and appreciate you and what you're doing and moving the needle forward. Right now, y'all understand too, though, that we also have to make sure that as anything, which I don't say, because at this point, everyone should understand and know that all lives matter. So I don't say that because to me, there is no need. We already know that it's a given. We're not saying that. So I'm not one to be like, okay, let me just, preface this and say that, first of all lives matter. At this point, Black lives matter. Today and every day, Black lives matter. And we are at a place where we need to consider where our dollars go. And hey, because if you hit pockets, people will talk, you know what I'm saying? By which we were talking about that the other day, Dani, and everyone in regards to looking at how different businesses, I know that I was bombarded with emails, across the span of a week and a half concerning my business and what people are doing to move the needle forward, such as, getting caught up and more getting educated on Black history to where they're putting their monies towards, such as, the National Bail Fund and all this other stuff. And, and Black lives do matter. Yeah, now it matters, right? Because you want to make sure that my dollars remains with you. Exactly. And we were just talking about that, is it yesterday we were talking about, is it disingenuous? The whole thing with Quaker Oats and with Pepsi, considering changing the name, the picture, the brand of Aunt Jemima. So I know, Dani, you do the news, and I know there's a couple other things that we can talk about concerning news, but people would post on my page and we had that kind of conversation and debate. To me, look, it's like, why now? Because back in the 2000s, we asked them before to change it, but because of their dollars, they were concerned about all of that. And now, because of their dollars, they're now considering all of that to change it, right?
Exactly.
Versus just change it because you chose to change it, because yes, how we felt as consumers and what it looked like and what it entailed and everything. It's like now, it's like that's not even the big issue right now either. We have bigger fish to fry. So that was my thought about that. But it's just a matter of, we are at a place right now to consider who really are rocking with us. And we have to do what is necessary so that we can take care of our own and one another. Yeah. So no offense, my white friends or white allies or white frenemies. It's just the fact that that's where things are. And it's not a matter of saying, okay, like I had a friend today on her page, tell you, man, those Karen strikes again. It literally, the person's name was Karen. And my friend on her page was just talking about how all these, I know I'm going into the news right now, all the different deaths by suicide, the hangings, the murders. They're saying it's suicide. No, no, no. And so so Karen was kind of like debating my friend, because my friend has a young daughter, she has kids, whatever, and you know, she was really taken by the one that was in Houston. I think it was in Houston or Texas, where a young teenage boy found hanged, right? And so she was really upset about that. And so Karen wanted to still talk in a way, kind of pushing the all lives matter thing and all this stuff. And so my friend was like, look, you know, this is not the time to talk to me right now. Karen had the nerve to turn around and say, oh, should I take that as a threat? So I jumped in and I said, Karen, are you really living up to your name right now? Like, really, Karen? Really, Karen? I was like, Karen, just good Lord. Really, Karen? First thing in the morning. So I don't know what happened and what came of that, but yeah, I just mosey my way right in. And I was like, you know what? To my friend, like, look, I got this. Karen, really, Karen? You're taking what she said as a threat? Girl, if you don't get off this page, girl, bye. Right. It's like, it just seems like it's never ending right now. And you would think that it would be, because there's been so many instances where if you show your behind, that you're going to be tossed out. Like, that, you know, we'll see someone who records plenty of recordings, you know, of people, you know, having to come at people. Well, we have had white people coming to Black people and telling them what they should and should not do, right. Not minding their business. Right. Then when it's recorded, because now we are recording at this point, that's what helps. It seems like not so much, but it does enough for some. And then the next day or the next hour, we read, oh, you know, wherever they worked at, oh, we don't condone that. So, you know, this person is out of here. You would think that so many instances that you wouldn't do that. Like, why would you still decide to say something when you've seen people prior to you have lost their jobs, lost their endorsements, lost everything, and you still proceed to want to harass or want to, whatever you call it. I'm just going on and on and on.
You know what, Dr. Langley? I'm gonna chime in on you. I'm gonna back in on that, because I gotta speak on that. I personally believe that many do not personalize that experience to themselves. So they may see that effect of somebody making some actions is recorded, and then, you know, it's on them, but they don't personalize that experience to themselves. I think they don't see that reflection of, this is who I am, these are my actions. And they don't have a history of being checked. So I think that they see them as outliers. They don't see that as themselves, as they can be responsible, because again, they are not used to being held accountable to that inappropriate behavior. So even though we are telling them it's inappropriate, even though we're telling them that it's wrong, they're not in that place where they're like, oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't say this. They really feel like they are in the right. I was just watching a video earlier today about a group of 15-year-olds, I believe it was in Florida. Shout out to Teresa, who posted that article. And it was like in a gated community, and 15-year-olds, I think they were driving a golf cart in the area. Man followed them in his car, in the golf cart, told them that they did not belong there, that they had no business there, they did not deserve to be there. And they were like, he was like, tell me, and they lived there. And then he's like, well, tell me where you live. And they were like, no, we're not going to tell you where we live. He's like, well, what's your names? They were like, we're not telling your names. And then I don't know if he threatened them. And then he started, because he was like, well, I don't care if you have my picture, you know, take and record me. And then, you know, they're like, we're going to tell our dad or our grandfather. He's like, you know what, you go tell them. So they was going to the house. Let me tell you, Papa was ready, okay? She had to go out there and tell him. I was like, oh, Lord. I was like, Papa, come down, Papa. Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. But he set those girls back in the house. He's like, let me see that video. Papa wasn't playing. So again, like Auntie, I said the other day, snatching them edges, like we have to, because they don't think this applies to them. They really don't hold themselves accountable or believe that is a mirror to their behavior. So no, that is the problem. That is the definite problem. And, you know, just to roll right into hot topics, I think this kind of relates to what you were just saying. And so I'm going to call this hot topics, what you need to know. So something really interesting that I saw an article about, or that was being held, is that the UN is holding urgent debates right now. They actually had a video of George Floyd's brother, and they are holding an urgent debate on the racism and the issues that are going on in America. Now, they are not referencing George Floyd. They did not in the interview so far. They haven't referenced him, but his brother was actually on and did an interview, or he was kind of like sharing his thoughts, his feelings on what was going on. He was calling things out as they were. So it's good. I think they're going to continue either today or tomorrow or next week with it. But what's interesting, last year, because of the issues, the U.S. withdrew from the Human Rights Council with the UN. Interesting. And the debate is going to continue, but they're actually discontinuing a proposal for a formal commission inquiry here with the U.S. with these race issues that we're having. I thought that was very interesting, especially considering that we're moving into elections.
So what's your take on that, Dani? What's your take?
I think, as you know, former advisor Bolton, he's got his memoir out, how Trump's soliciting. I think he is reaching out to every area. He's reaching out to Geneva and all the places, like, y'all better not say nothing. I think he is just, don't say nothing. I'm trying to keep it together. Yeah, that's one of the topics. That's one topic. Any thoughts, Dr. Langley?
Child, look, I'm just here for it. Okay, I got the popcorn ready. I'm just here for it. It's just look, we're about to go into celebrations, whichever celebrations we're about to go into. I'm just here for it at this point.
I know that's right.
It just unfolds all the time. We don't have to really say much of anything. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, let me just actually say something before I do. Everybody, what's your thoughts? I would love to hear it. We would love to hear it. As a matter of fact, thank you, Jay, for tuning in. Floyd, thank you for tuning in. Adrian, thank you for tuning in. Jamal, Trina, Raj, Janelle, thank you everybody for tuning in. Dani's peoples, thank you all for tuning in as well. Hopefully you will be able to, put comments in the comment section. I hope you can. We're working on that. Let me see here. Adrian said, so proud of you. Need to always have conversations, especially with those outside of our race. I have and plan to continue. Everyone else is saying, hey, I just asked them to share this out. Please, everyone share this out, because this is important conversations that we're having. Our mental health, our holistic well-being, preparing as we are advancing in adversity, going forward. We are survivors. We are thrivers. We are strivers. We are resilient, and we are just keeping it moving. We're rallying together. We're holding and containing one another so that we can make it through to the other side, and preparing right now in advance, not waiting until everything now is created or everything is here and we're trying to figure out what to do. This is the time to have this conversation right now so that we can be fully prepared for what's ahead. And look, I just really want to celebrate you all and thank you so much for being part of this conversation. Thank you for showing up, because of the fact that this wouldn't be if you were not here. So we just appreciate you and your time and taking the time out to join this conversation, because you could go any, thing. You can just go on social media and it's not kind of like Netflix, you can choose, I guess, what you want to watch. So thank you for watching this one, but like I said, I'm here for it in regards to just letting things unfold. It was interesting. What was it that I was going to say? It was interesting with, it's like you got humor that's going on from, I sent it out. So we hear, I don't know, Dani, if you heard of Patty Jackson over here. Mm-hmm. That's right. So now I'm going to blame it on Aunt Patty. So Aunt Patty so shout out to you, Aunt Patty Jackson. She had, well, I did it yesterday though. Someone sent it to me. Going back real quick with the humor. Candace Owens and Ben Carson. So Dani, I don't know if you saw my page. Everybody, y'all can go back.
I sure did. I sure did.
And so if we're talking about going back real quick on the whole Uncle Ben's and Aunt Jemima, what picture, who's the new poster child for the, for the branding and everything. Lord have mercy. They got Candace Owens as Aunt Jemima and got Ben Carson as Uncle Ben. So interesting, right? because I know, especially with Floyd, who's watching, and hey Tito, thank you for tuning in. My man Floyd, he can't stand Candace. I mean, seeing him going up on her. And we have to be clear too. Everyone who's watching, you know, my non-Black friends, non-people of color friends, Candace Owens, Ben Carson, they do not speak for the whole African American community. Okay, they do not. They do not, because I noticed that when we see videos, and I see a lot of my white social media friends sharing out Candace Owens videos, and you know, and Ben Carson a little bit, but more so Candace Owens. She does not represent the whole entire race. Okay, so if y'all really want to learn and really want to ask questions and really want to know what you can do, ask us. Like, listen and read these threads. Listen to what we're saying. We're not just talking to talk. We are saying something in hopes that you get it, you listen, you understand, or at least if you cannot understand, you're taking it in and what you can do differently to get different results. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. For whatever reason this came up for me. They do not speak for the whole community.
Right.
That's it. So I don't know. As far as with the rest of the things that's going on, we could go right into the conversation of what this topic is about today. I'm just trying to make sure that we covered all the things. There was something else that I wanted to talk about. What was it, Dani? It was a Dani's hot topic moment too. I'm trying to think that we covered it all.
Talking about the UN holding this, but I think it was particularly for Trump, or maybe it was Bolton with his
Bolton. So Bolton with his book, his tell-all, right? And they trying to block him.
Yes.
But it's pretty much already out, you know.
Bolton,
like,
yeah, he's spilling the tea regardless.
Yeah.
Bolton gonna spill his tea. He's like, he's brewing, it's hot. Y'all gonna get this.
Now I know too. I loved it. Yo, DACA. So yes. Talk about it.
Yes, no. So DACA, the U.S. Supreme Court rules against Trump's capricious DACA case and is protecting 650,000 dreamers who have appeared as children. I said, now, if that is not a win, I just got chills. If that is not a win, I said, thank you, Supreme Court. Thank you for standing up against that, because that is a mess, and it's still a mess. Even what we have, like children in detainment, because we have a lot of children that are missing right now. We don't even know where they are. So there is so much, but I am so glad to hear that, because that has been up in the air, and it's just been causing a lot, I think, of turmoil and chaos and fear in people's lives. So I am so happy to hear that they decided to act right, and they knew that they needed to hold on to that and act against that. So I'm thrilled about that.
Yes, me too. Thank you, Jesus. I was so happy. It was like a relief in a way, and we're giving it to them. You know what I mean? It's like a black eye.
Right.
You know, so all the Karens are gonna watch this. You know, did I just say something that was like a hate or a crime, whatever? Because I say give them a black eye. Look, I'll say it again. Give them a black eye, because of the fact that it is a matter of putting things in its place, because it's about morals. It's about standards. I saw a picture. Someone had taken a picture. It was a little baby on the floor it looked like herself, just by herself, because of the fact that her parents were taken, or that she was detained, or whichever the case was, but the fact that she wasn't with her family, and everything that's happening, trying to undo everything for what? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I can say so much, but what I am going to say is thank you, Jesus, that was handled properly. And even before that, they, I think it was with LGBT, they, there was a win for them as well.
Yes.
And so all that, we need that momentum. We need the positivity and seeing these wins. As a matter of fact, there's plenty of wins that have happened since these protests. There are so much that's happening. Instead of us still looking at what's not happening, or, we're joking about, well, not really, but really in a way, with the whole branding and, the Aunt Mama and all that, we want to see more. The fact remains is that things are happening overall. Yes, it's bigger fish to fry, but we are working at that too. So please look at what is happening. Look at what is going on and what has changed and what is changing as a result of us protesting, us standing our ground. And that, look, at the end of the day, here was the final thought, and then we're gonna go right into our conversation. Are we free to celebrate? That's the conversation we're gonna have today. Are we free to celebrate? Are you celebrating 4th of July? Are you celebrating Juneteenth? What are you doing? Just to put this out there, it's just amazing how I always seem to lose my thought. Look, apparently I'm not supposed to talk about it because I keep forgetting it. It comes and goes, you know. So I don't know. We can go right into it. I'm sure that something will trigger it, and I'll just say it. But look, are we free to celebrate? Tito, are we free to celebrate? Gregory, are we free to celebrate? Michelle, are we free to celebrate? What are your thoughts? Put in the comment section. Are you celebrating 4th of July? Are you celebrating Juneteenth? Did you know what Juneteenth was? No insults. Because I was reading some posts on some people. They was like, you know what, come on, admit it. Did you really know what Juneteenth was? I did. I surely did. But that doesn't mean that everybody has. Right. So what do you think, Dani?
Nope, that is so true. That is so true. We have said that several times here, is that, you know, we are not always educated about our history. No, not always. We are not educated about our history. And I think some white folks might be overwhelmed because they don't realize that so many things revert back to slavery, about oppression. I think that it's very eye-awakening. It's like, what? Uncle Ben? Aunt Jemima? Yes. You know, you look into the history of Levi's. I mean, there are so many things that contribute back to slavery. It's scary. And then, you know, I think everybody's just running, trying to protect themselves. So no, we're not aware. Everybody is not aware of their own history. Was I? Yes. Mommy made us read Black books, and she was always blind. We had a whole Black library, and that we were responsible to read it, and then we had to discuss it. So there was a lot of things about, I didn't know everything, but there's a lot of Black things about Black history that I knew, that my mom made sure that I knew, that there was more than Harriet Tubman and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Like there's a larger spectrum of the history. So again, yeah, right, you're right. There's no condemnation if you did not know. But now you do know, or if you don't know a little bit, do a little bit more research. So just use this time of awakening to just develop and to learn more. I think that is one of the bigger things, is just questioning the history and having that question mark and knowing that, okay, there's more behind the story. So just keep digging, because as you dig deeper and deeper, you were like, there is so much more. It can be a big hole, but it's okay. Keep digging. Keep on digging. Like, what's that from Finding Nemo, Dory? Just keep digging, just keep digging.
You got some singers in the house. You know, you're one of many talents here. You know, activist, singer. All right now.
Little everything.
Now I remember.
Yes.
Okay, and now it left again. Okay, no, for real. Okay. It had to do with, come on, Sarah. Come on, Dr. Sarah. Come on. It has to do with what we're talking about. Okay, all right. Because when I do that, it just goes good. All right. So years ago, when I just graduated from getting my master's, and I was working in, I don't know, some agency. And I kid you not, I've been trying to find this, everybody. I have tried to find this magazine. I thought it was Time, but maybe it was the National Geographic. Now that I think about it, I am unsure. I'm going to find it because I'm on the lookout for it. But there was an article, and I was so surprised because the front page of it, of the cover, was talking about, it was a picture of a white man in a business suit, like kind of like washed on the shore, had his briefcase in his hand. He was on the beach, and it said, whites becoming the minority, or something like that. The day that the whites become a minority. And I want to say that it was dated back maybe 10 years, maybe, because at that time it was saying by 50-50, the year 2050, that between 2030 and 2050, that the majority will be the minority and the minority will be the majority, actually in favor of Latinos. saying that they would be, like they will be the majority. And I was surprised at that cover. So I was like, I think it was Time. I was surprised it was Time. I was like, dang, Time, really? Like, wow, I was, and I read about it. I read that. I was like, I gotta read this. But I was really shocked that they actually printed and posted that, like printed it. But I can't find it now. They must have just like took it off the shelves. I don't know, but I'm gonna find it. But the point is, with everything that's going on, I can only imagine the thought of whites being the minority when they were once the majority, and then the minority being the majority. And like you said earlier, which I would love for you to reiterate that point in regards to, I said, well, why is it that, we're telling them and they still don't get it, or you see what's going on and they still don't get it? Can you please repeat why?
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. It comes from is a disassociation of that behavior. We were talking about, the videos, and why don't they see themselves as these are consequences of their actions, or this, for this inappropriate behavior, or being hateful, or being wrong, or being rude, or just outrageous. So I said that I don't believe that they associate that with themselves. I don't believe that they have been held accountable for their actions. So I believe that they feel that they are in the right. I don't feel that they feel that they are, because they've never been held accountable. They've never suffered consequences to allow them to feel, oh, this is wrong, I shouldn't do this. And there could be retribution, and there can be consequences to actions of me operating this way. They don't have that association. They think that the people that are found that, they have lose their jobs, they lose their pets, they have all sorts of issues. They disassociate that and believe those are outliers. They don't believe that as something that's consequential to themselves. So I think they disassociate that as their own personal responsibility. I believe that's what the bigger premise is.
Wow. So then what then needs to happen? How do we then help them to
they have lose their jobs, they lose their pets, they have all sorts. So we talked about that not too long ago. I think that is, how did I say, my guy who posted that, the Black Lives Matter, and how to, the way to end racism, the way to end these issues is to first acceptance. That's the bigger issue. Accepting that the behavior that you have is wrong, that it has to be a correction. But I think there has to be that acknowledgement first. And for people to see that ugliness, they don't see that as ugly. Some associate it to their heritage. Some are like, what they would call with the Confederate flag, that's part of my heritage. No, that's part of your racism. We need to get it together. So I think that is the awareness, the acknowledgement, and the ownership. I think that there has to be some collective understanding of, this is coming from me and I'm not in a good place. There has to be some kind of acknowledgement of this behavior for correction. Now, that will come by Pop or Karen pulling them edges, or that's going to come by filming your activity. How the consequences come is yours, Planeteer. You remember Captain Planet? The power is yours, Planeteer. So however these consequences are going to come, they're going to come. But again, I think, we don't have to reach that area. It's being aware of our own biases. That's really where it starts. You have to be aware of your biases. Everybody has them. So it's acknowledging, it's taking that own introspection first to acknowledge, where is this coming from? This is not a good space. How can I improve? But self-improvement's hard. You got to open up those ugly spaces. You be like, oh, I'm not perfect. That's me. That ain't me. That's me. So it's hard to change, period. So to bring that mirror up and to see that's not good about ourselves, don't get me wrong, it's not easy for anybody, but it's either going to be the easy way, which is that way, or you're going to be thrown in the bushes by your edges, bombs, and Karen, or pop in the street. So choice is yours.
Exactly. It is yours. And as always, you can always reach out to us for mental health services. You're not alone to do this. This is exactly why we exist, to help you along the way. So if you are having a challenge with changing, You know, if you're having a challenge with having to see those dreaded areas that you don't even want anyone, including yourself, to see, this is where you reach out to us. So you make sure that you reach out to us, you inbox us, you can check us out, you know, so that we
Yeah.
can be of best support and service to you. I thank you for those who have reached out and, you know, have asked for services and help, because we are at your service. This is why we do what we do, so
Yeah.
that we can be of service and support and a blessing to you, so that you too can change and be for the better. Yes or yes?
Yes. Absolutely.
All right. So, are we celebrating? Are we going to celebrate? Um, I think for me, it's just different now. You know, it's like nostalgia in terms of remembering the times of being with my family, 4th of July, you know, fireworks, going out, just enjoying time, barbecuing. Now, hey, I can still do that. We can still do that. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that we have to really celebrate, because it was becoming questionable anyway, for me personally, for some time, especially back in 2016 when Cap had, you know, had started protests about this. And when I would be at certain events when he was taking the knee, and then if I was at a conference and now all of a sudden they want to do something for the veterans at the particular conferences that I was in. And so, you know, they played, you know, the Star Spangled Banner, played all the different songs, whatever, that we're supposed to stand up. I sat down. I stayed down. I was like, because it was like, it had me to think. And I tell you the truth, y'all, for me, as a licensed clinical psychotherapist, I love to get people to think. If nothing else, think. I love when people get quiet. I love when they cry too. That's my job. But I love when they think, because now you're starting to consider something else. You're starting to question or challenge the thought. Like, you know what? This is the thought that I've had for so long. This is all I know. But yet I expect change. Or why is it that I'm not changing because of that thought?
Right.
That thought is driving everything. Interesting. Watching this documentary on the North versus the South, right? And how it's now popping up as another topic, hot topic, regarding how the South lost, but how the fight was about slavery. And then you now have the debate. The South is saying, no, it wasn't about slavery. It was about money, AKA slavery. And it's like, so it's like debating, you know, it's being debated. And then the documentary was talking about how the Daughters of the Confederacy made it a point. So if the South lost the war, it was only beginning of how they can win the battle. Meaning how they went into the schools and started to indoctrinate, like making it like romanticizing the, you know, the Confederates, the generals, and, you know, trying to make it seem like it was all bad concerning, although we lost, let's gloss over that. The fact that we're still great and this is what we want you to learn. And they were teaching the children at early ages about all of that, including racism. And so when you hear people today who are now in their 50s or 60s, and they're like, you know, why you want to, you know, get rid of our heritage? You know, why are you disrespecting our heritage? Because that's what they were taught, to think that we're all the enemy to them. And wow, it was just amazing how they were taught in their daggone, I mean, in the books from little children. Ever a wonder how, you know, being programmed and conditioned the way that they were, just as much the way that we have been conditioned and programmed to have self-hatred, to not even love ourselves as a people enough. When we look at the news, I tell you the truth, from where I'm from, compared to another area, suburb, if a crime happened, they would give the coordinates, they would give the location, they would give the address, it would always seem to be at night, 12 o'clock at night, something happened. But then when it came down to a crime happen, you know, like a murder over insurance money, happened in the suburb, you barely knew what suburb it was. They barely wanted to give you that information, but they constantly controlled the media to have us all daggone conditioned and brainwashed and programmed. So yeah, while it happened in the books in the schools at a young age for these kids back in the early 1900s to up to 1970, at the same time we were being programmed and brainwashed and conditioned about our own people, our own selves, our own skin color. And so I love, Dani, how you just said how your mom made sure when you came home, she had to help, unlearn you, kind of like deprogram you or whatever to program you right. And I was saying that the other day about, I love my sixth grade teacher. So everybody from TM Pierce, Mr. Paris, we have to shout you out because he made sure, outside of my family, outside of my parents, he made sure that we were given the right information about our history. And wow, you never thought that it would be anything until now. We're having this conversation right now and how we all got to unlearn to actually learn right. And that's why it's so important, everyone, to take the time to research, get the information for yourself and make a conscious decision. Do not hold on to something in your mind just because it's comfortable. You don't have to change. You don't have to change your mindset. You don't know what life would look like if you change your mindset or actually program it correctly. Which one do you want? To remain the same and get more of that, or change and expect a different result that may be extremely favorable for you and for your loved ones. So I don't know. It's just amazing about how all the information is coming out right now, or it's always been there. It's just now, with where we are right now, we're all interested in really learning some truth. What you think?
Definitely. No, I agree completely. And actually, just to piggyback off of that point, I like to, check our local news, and then I like to check the international news, like for BBC and Al Jazeera. So I saw that they had an article in their opinion section by Alicia, am I saying her name? Alicia Shabazz, Malcolm X's daughter. She's actually an educator, and she said she became an educator because of that same thing, making sure that there is historical facts in the information and the knowledge that she was giving for children, that foundation and that base, making sure that information is solid information. And like you're saying, a lot with schooling is creating that foundation. Like you said, if you give a particular rhetoric, or you start them at a young age, you create that as a foundation, that's what's believed, and they just go with. So education is such a huge key. And like we're talking about, with Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben's, I know a lot of people just like, what is that, what that is? We can start talking about everything. We talk about Popeyes. Okay, I did have, because she's an actress. Okay, she is not really from Louisiana. She is an actress. I think she is from New York. Like, because I was like, where did this lady come from? When did Popeyes start? I had a little problem with that when she first came out, but but yes, education is key. And then once you find those things, you're like, wait, but I used to think it was. It's like, yeah, well, a lot of our textbooks still come from the Bible Belt with weight they approved when we can put in with books. I think there was a big issue, if I'm not mistaken, maybe like over 6 years ago, where they were talking about they wanted to put blacks as migrants. Migrated. Brought here slavery, not even acknowledging the history and the roadblocks that were put in. I was like, really? That's where we're going with that? So it's really, education is key. And like you were saying, Dr. Langley, making sure that you are getting your information from the appropriate sources. Because I've seen people post videos that they think are accurate because maybe they're well doctored, but they come from or funded by particular political groups. And I'm just like, sorry. Really? I'm sorry. I'm thinking about somebody particular. Wayne, take that down, bruh.
Wayne out.
Wayne got to get together. But yeah. And honestly, you made one other good point. So we're talking about, the theme is talking about, freedom. Are you free to celebrate? And you mentioned Brother Kaepernick. Love Colin Kaepernick. He has made such an impact and such attention when it was still, I mean, it still is difficult, but right in the midst, he became such a hard hit with such criticism and such issues over something that was recommended by a veteran. I won't go down that, I won't go down that path. But a good point. Somebody and I, a friend of mine, had a conversation the other night. If it was an option, should Kaepernick go back to the NFL and talk about freedom? Personally, I don't think so. I think while financially, I think that Kaepernick is well off, but I think that he has grown so much. I don't think that he would be free in that spot. I think that he would be so limited. They were like, you can be black, but you can't be blackity black, black, black. You know, so I think they would pose such barriers that he couldn't be himself. And I feel like he has grown so much that he could not fit back in that small space that he was confined to before. And being who he is, I think they would hold him under such heavy restraints that it would be frustrating. So I don't, I mean, that's not one person would take, but yeah, I just had to throw that in there since you hollered out my boy, Colin Kaepernick. I haven't been watching football in years. So.
Right. You know what, then, hey, everyone, as we wrap it up, we hope that you enjoyed this conversation. Are you celebrating? Are you free to celebrate? Put it in the comment section if you're able. Are you free to celebrate? And look, it's all personal choice. You do what you feel is best for you. You do what you feel is best for you. Don't look to the left and to the right, comparing, seeing what other people are doing or not doing. You go with your discernment. What feels right with you? Mental health tip here: free associate. Allow yourself, whatever comes to mind, to go with, to now connect yourself, mind, body, and spirit, as opposed to just being in your headspace all the time or being all in your heart, and going with what you feel is right. Why don't you connect the two and now make a conscious decision on what's best? Look, you can decide if you want to celebrate, that's fine. It's okay. It's no harm or foul. It's just the fact that now we're at a place where we're just starting to think, having to consider some things and making sure to know your history. If you didn't know, now you know. Now it's time for you to go ahead and get the right information in so that you can do this process, begin the process of unlearning to learn right. As a matter of fact, I'm hearing that many companies, I was counseling someone today, and they were saying how they were now offered, time off for Juneteenth. I have never heard that. To be honest with you, I didn't know that there were, companies. I know when I used to work for the man, I don't remember being off on Juneteenth, but it seems like many companies are now considering it. And I thought I read somewhere where they were trying to push it to be a holiday, like so that people can, not just for the sake of being off, but look, changes are being made, and let's go ahead and appreciate that with the changes that are being made, because that meant that we did decide to speak our voices. We did decide to stand our ground until change truly comes. Yes. So I think it's a good thing that things are changing, despite of the fact of whether they're afraid that they're going to lose, our money, our black dollars, our power, and all that. Changes are being made. I guess that's the whole point in the picture. So if you decide that if you feel free to decide to celebrate whatever holiday, it is your choice. But just start thinking, start to consider some things, and make the best decision for you and you and yours. Any final thoughts, Dani? Any other comments, everyone? Hey, Ren, thank you for tuning in. Sharad, thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate you all. Any final thoughts or comments before we wrap up?
You know what? I think that is key. It's like what you said. There's no condemnation. There's no putting down. It's everybody's in their own place in their own particular journeys. So how you choose to operate, to celebrate, to acknowledge, that's your own prerogative. So like you said, there's no condemnation or ill feelings. Everybody's in their own particular space, moving forward towards growth. So if that's where you're at, that's great. If it's not, that's good too. Everybody's in their own part of the race. So as long as you're just doing your part to continue to do your own reflection, your own education, your own uplifting, your own activities, and uplifting yourself and others, that's really what it's all about.
Okay, so are you celebrating? What you doing?
Am I celebrating? I'm definitely celebrating Juneteenth. I already got my colors out for tomorrow. We will definitely be eating. We will definitely be eating. There will be food somewhere on the 4th. Definitely, absolutely. But like celebration, not. Well, I don't think it'll be anything major, unless my dad is like, "All right, look, we got." So, okay. You know, gotta keep the kids happy.
Cool deal, cool deal. So y'all put in the comment section as we end our time with everyone, with one another. We do want to say thank you for tuning in. Y'all make sure y'all share this out. You find value, share it. Sharing is caring. You just might save a life in the process as you share it out. And just make sure that y'all tune in. You let us know too what topics you want us to talk about. What things do you want us to address, so that we can be at your service and to address those concerns. And as always, look, y'all be safe, make the decision, connect with yourselves, start really honing in on what works best for you, what feels right, what thoughts you have, and start to consider, where are you with everything? Who do you want to become? Who do you want to become after this? What and how is everything serving you? We talked about that the other day. How is this all serving you? Take this time and moment to reflect so that now you will truly be able to advance in adversity. So it's Dr. Saturday Langley, Dani Robinson, LSW. Everyone, we will see you again. And thank you, everyone, for your time. Y'all have a great day on purpose. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Dani.